Agitorium nostrum in nomine Domini. All right, the Apocalypse chapter. We are ending chapter 16 of the Apocalypse. Okay. We're beginning chapter 17. The description of the great harlot and of the beast upon which she sits. Verse 1, And there came one of the 7 angels who had the 7 vials, and spoke with me, saying, Come, I will show thee the condemnation of the great harlot, who sitteth upon many waters. Verse 1, one of the angels is one of the 7 angels in chapter 16, spoke with me. That's St. John's, this highlights St. John's angelic purity, that an angel would speak to him as a friend. St. John is known for his great purity. Come, says the angel, meaning retire within thy soul and pray to see the inner truth. Come and see, I will show you the condemnation of the great harlot. What is this harlot? Infidelity to God. In the Old Testament, Hosea speaks of this. The infidelity of the Jews is compared to the infidelity of a prostitute. Morally, it means the infidelity to God. Allegorically, it points to the Antichrist, the harlot, the Antichrist. Who sitteth on the waters, that is, she lords over many people. And one commentary says that the harlot is Catholics losing the faith, turning towards creatures. Catholics losing the faith and turning towards creatures, which happens a lot down the history. Verse 2 of chapter 17, Tony?
With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and they who inhabit the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her whoredom.
Okay, what does this mean? That is worldly people, inhabitants of the earth is worldly people. Hebrews 13:14. Hebrews 13:14. Where St. Paul says, For we have not here a lasting city, but we seek one that is to come. So we, Catholics, we know this is not our home. We're just passing in via, says St. Thomas, on the way, in a bad hotel, on pilgrimage to heaven. Well, those who love this earth and are worldly people, they don't want to leave this world. They want to stay attached. But they're going to lose it anyway. So people with nice suburban houses, says Bishop Williamson. The wine, what is this wine? And they inhabit the earth, worldly people, have made drunk with the wine of her whoredom. Wine is the attractiveness of creatures which wipes out the 4 last things out of men's minds. Millions today. So what is this wine? Drunk with this wine, it is forgetting the 4 last things. So being so absorbed in creatures and pleasures, they forget. What are the 4 last things? Anybody?
Hell. Death, judgment, heaven, and hell.
Death, judgment, heaven, hell. Death, judgment, heaven, hell. Death, judgment, heaven, hell. Priests used to preach a lot about these things. People used to be reminded of these things all the time. Do you ever hear them in the Navasoto?
No.
Not at all? I mean, sometimes there must be some priest.
Oh, maybe like a passing comment, but not enough where they hit on the mark.
It depends on the priest.
It does.
We had Father Retro types who would do like good sermons and stuff like that, but
Right.
the other cushy, never sort of Father Chuck ones wouldn't do it.
Right. Okay. All right. Verse 3, Anthony.
And he took me away in spirit into the desert, and I saw a woman sitting upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Yeah, here's another beast of the apocalypse. I was carried off in spirit, that is, St. John is in ecstasy, into the desert, that is the wasteland of sin. T.S. Eliot has a poem called Wasteland, and he compares the modern city of God, of a godless wasteland. Modern city is like a godless wasteland. To Dante's vision of hell, Bishop Williamson says it's compared to today's rush hour on the London Bridge. Rush hour on the London Bridge or the George Washington Bridge. Just everybody's going everywhere in chaos, an orderly chaos. The woman, in verse 3, I saw a woman sitting upon a scarlet-colored beast. The woman is sensuality, soft in sensuality, whilst the spiritual life is virile, hard, and demanding. So one who lives according to sensuality is like a woman in the sense that effeminate and no resistance to pleasure, no resistance to their passions. While we all know to get to heaven and to keep the state of grace, you have to fight these disorders of the body and soul. So that's the virile, virtuous life, hard and demanding, disciplined. And the woman was sitting on a beast, scarlet-colored, the devil who carries sensual people slowly and surely to hell. Red, the beast is red because of crimes.
What's the first color, Father?
It's red.
Oh,
Oh, upon a scarlet-colored beast. Well, that's red. Scarlet-colored beast.
sorry.
Full of the names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. So the big beast is the devil. The woman is sensuality. And the beast has 7 heads. Guess what that is?
7 capital sins.
Yes. 10 horns. Anybody guess?
Mocking the 10 Commandments.
Okay, good shot. His pride, revolting against the 10 Commandments. So the devil, always pushing the 7 capital sins, and the 10 horns, his pride, revolting against the 10 Commandments. Verse 4, and the woman, Guadalupe,
And the woman was clothed round about with purple and scarlet, and gilt with gold, and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of the abomination and filthiness of her fornication.
Okay, what is this? She's wrapped in purple. The woman with clothes around in purple and scarlet. So purple and reddish. What is the color purple? Sensuality is queen of this world. Of this world. And scarlet means the hidden cruelty of sensuality. The hidden cruelty of sensuality. Give an example. What's the hidden cruelty behind pleasures of the flesh?
Its consequences, like depression. One of them, abortion's one.
Abortion, yes, horrifying. The pleasure which leads to slaughter. Pornography is also closely linked to violence. So many studies have been done to show this. And what's his name? Ted Bundy, before he was executed, he admitted everything started with him with pornography. He got deep into pornography, and that's how he got violent. So he became violent. I don't know how many he killed. He was a serial killer. But I hope he died repentant. It seems like he did. But he says, it ruined me. And he says, if this stuff is not kept under control, it's going to ruin many others. And it's going to lead to more brutal murders. And we're hearing it every day now. There's constant murders going on. There's a woman, just in the news recently, a woman was stabbed 22 times by this guy. And his sentence was 9 months in jail, and now he's free. So the whole juridical system is shot. A bunch of corrupt. They should be in jail. All right, so the scarlet, the red, is the hidden cruelty of sensuality. Decked in gold, what is this? It's the outer appearance of charity, the veneer of charity, like the Navasota Church, pretends to be all smiles and charity with all religions. Everybody's fine, everybody's nice. Sodomites, come on up, bring your rainbow flags. And they're slaughtering souls to hell. It's the outer appearance of charity, but there is no charity. They cry, peace, 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 says Isaiah, but there is no peace. And then, what else? And the precious stones and pearls having a golden cup. What are the precious stones? Notice the precious stones and pearls. Christ, who is hypocritically put on, pretends to be Catholic, but inwardly are not. So the precious stone and pearls is the word stones in verse 4 in your rendition. Do you have the Latin?
Yes.
Can you read it in Latin? Verse 4.
Et mulier era circumdata purpura, et cochino, et in aurata auro, et lapide precioso, et margaritis.
Okay. Lapide prezioso. That's what it says, right?
Yes, lapide.
Which is singular or plural?
It's singular.
It's singular. For some reason, it's translated pearl here. Excuse me. It's some reason it's translated in the plural, while in the Latin it's singular.
Interesting, because lapide precioso, that comes straight from the Gospels. So.
Yes. So the singular stone, the precious stone, is Christ, who is hypocritically put on. That is, Catholics who pretend to be Catholics, but really inwardly are not. And pearls, Margarita, pretending to have virtues. So an external display of religion and virtue, but it's not really there. The golden cup in her hand, that is the divine truth, misinterpreted and mishandled, yet only filth comes out. And Bishop Williamson brought up Father Curran. He was a priest in the 80s. Father Curran, just a rotten priest, promoting vice. And today it would be James Martin, Father James Martin. So they have the golden cup in their hand. They have the divine truth, but they misinterpret it and mishandle it to the harm of souls. And in her hand, full of the abomination and filthiness of her fornication. Verse 5, Tony.
And on her forehead a name was written, a mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of the fornications and the abominations of the earth.
And on her forehead a name was written. What's this? To all who have eyes of the faith to see, her wickedness is clear. So those who have the faith sincerely, truly, can see through the facade. And was written what was written on her head? A mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of the fornications and the abominations of the earth. It is mysterious to worldly people. Babylon the Great, the city of evil, raised by human pride against the city of God. Babylon the Great is the city of man raised up against God, the city of evil and pride. Two loves have built two cities, said St. Augustine. Babylon the Great, the mother of the fornications and the abominations of the earth. That is, mother of all these, she's the cause of all sins. Verse 6, Anthony.
And I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And I wondered, when I had seen her, with great admiration.
The woman drunk on the blood of saints. The world's wild hatred for Christians, especially Catholics. The world's wild hatred for Christians, especially Catholics. St. John is astonished. And I wondered when I had seen her. I wondered, what does he mean? St. John is astonished that she is so triumphant and pleased about it. So she's boasting in her evil. The spirit of the world boasting in its sins. Boasting in its wickedness. Like those pride parades, boasting in their foulness. Boasting and proud and disgusting. And flaunting the most horrible, one of the most horrible vices. These horrible parades. Well, I took the boys to one to protest it with a huge life-size crucifix and praying the rosary in Syracuse. And some of the families joined us too. And there they are, flaunting their wickedness. And they have little children on their shoulders and walking children on these parades. And I think it was 2 guys or 2 girls, I don't remember, started kissing in front of us to really rub it in. And just foul. One guy started semi-stripping in front of us. Just foul. Just poor people. You just had pity on their poor souls. Blinded and lost. So the woman drunk with the blood of saints. Hatred of Catholics. And verse 7, and the angel said to me, why dost thou wonder? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast which carrieth her, which has the 7 heads and the 10 horns. All right, here's the footnote in the Douay Rheims. Babylon is either the city of the devil in general, or if this place be to be understood of any particular city, pagan Rome, which then and for 300 years persecuted the church and was the principal seat of both empire and idolatry. And the angel said, why do you wonder? St. John wonders, the angel explains, verse 8, the beast which thou sawest was and is not and shall come up out of the bottomless pit and go into destruction. And the inhabitants on the earth, whose names are not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, shall wonder, seeing the beast that was and is not. The beast was and is not. That is, the devil had power before the incarnation, but lost it. So the devil was truly prince of this world before Christ came, but his power was lost. I mean, certainly minimized. and shall come up out of the bottomless pit, this beast. What is this? Come up. The devil in the Antichrist, the devil will, in a short time, will regain his power. So remember, Our Lady of La Salette said, all the devils will be set loose in the late 1800s, which was done. And they're going to be chained up again soon. Worldlings will marvel. Worldlings who put all their confidence in the beast are stunned. The collapse of the devil's power. He comes up against God's judgment, his judgment seat. Verse 9, Guadalupe.
And here is the understanding that hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, upon which the woman sitteth, and they are 7 kings.
All right. And here's the understanding that has wisdom. Understanding, here is the meaning for the wise. 1 Corinthians 2:14. 1 Corinthians 2:14. But the sensual man perceiveth not these things that are of the Spirit of God, for it is foolishness to him, and he cannot understand because it is spiritually examined. So the sensual man perceiveth not the things of the Spirit. The spiritual man sees clearer than the sensual man. What are the 7 heads? The 7 heads are the 7 mountains upon which the woman sitteth, and they are 7 kings. 7 heads are men used by the devil down the ages. All are different aspects of the Antichrist. Heads because they lead mankind. So men, the instruments of the devil. Mountains of pride. And 7 mountains are the mountains of pride, upon which the woman sitteth, and they are 7 kings. That is, the leaders. Heads because they lead mankind. Mountain because of their pride. Kings because they're leaders. And 7 kings, evoking 7 ages of the world, mend down all the ages. All right, verse 10, Tony.
5 are fallen, 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he is come, he must remain a short time.
Yeah, 5 are fallen, 1 is, and the other is not yet come. 5 are fallen, that is Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, Ezra, and our Lord Jesus Christ. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the Antichrist at the 7th age will not last long. Matthew 24:22, unless those days were shortened, even the elect would be lost.
I'm sorry, Father, could you read that again? Adam, what are the 5?
So here's the 5 are past. The 5 are fallen, are past. Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, Ezra, and our Lord Jesus Christ. And then, lastly, the Antichrist at the 7th age. But it will not last long with him. Verse 11, and the beast which was and is not, the same also is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into destruction. The beast was and is not, that is the devil, a sinner like the other 7. It's not so clear to me here. All right. Verse 12. Tony.
And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, who have not yet received a kingdom, but shall receive power as kings 1 hour after the beast.
That is 10 horns. 10 horns which thou sawest are the 10 kings. Vassal kings of the Antichrist. Kings under the Antichrist. Who receive the power as kings or tyrants only in the time of the Antichrist. So he'll have his peons, his powers under him. And shall receive power as kings 1 hour after the beast. What's that mean? 1 hour after the beast? That means only briefly, in the wake of the devil, as attached to the Antichrist, as a horn is attached to an animal, and as hard and insensitive as horns used to gash their enemies. So 1 hour after the beast, which means only briefly will these kings reign under the Antichrist, in the wake of the devil, as attached to the Antichrist, as a horn to an animal, which is hard and insensitive as horns, and used to gash their enemies. As kings 1 hour after the beast. 13, these have one design, and their strength and power they shall deliver to the beast. They have one counsel or design, to destroy Christ and his kingship. To destroy Christ and his kingdom on earth. And isn't that what Vatican II is about? To bring about the atheistic city. Destroy Christ and his kingship. Verse 14. Anthony.
These shall fight with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, because he is Lord of lords and King of kings. And they that are with him are called, and elect, and faithful.
All right, they shall fight with the Lamb, they shall fight against Christ. But who is meek and humble as a lamb and will conquer. Christ, who is meek and humble as a lamb, will conquer. They shall fight with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, because he is Lord of hosts and King of kings. And they that are with him are called and elect and faithful. Those who are with him will conquer, called the elect and faithful. That is, Christ and the Catholics will conquer. Christ and Catholics faithful to him will conquer. So Catholics, basically faithful to tradition, fighting under Our Lady, will conquer. Verse 15, Guadalupe.
And he said to me, the waters which thou sawest, where the harlot sitteth, are peoples, and nations, and tongues.
The waters, all people. The Antichrist will govern this world, and all the nations and tongues will follow him. all peoples, that is, the Antichrist will govern this world, and most of the nations and tongues will follow him. Verse 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest in the beast, these shall hate the harlot, and shall make her desolate, and naked, and will eat her flesh, and shall burn her with fire. Verse 16, the 10 horns shall hate the harlot. That is, in hell, their hatred for each other will be seen. After serving the Antichrist, they will turn on whoever seduced them into serving the Antichrist. So in other words, dog eat dog in hell. They will just tear each other apart and turn on each other. And they shall be desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and shall burn her with fire. So the damned turning on each other for following the Antichrist and attacking those who seduce them to follow the Antichrist. And burn and eat her flesh, and shall burn her with fire. That is remorse. The agents of the Antichrist will turn on him and his agents. So in hell, the remorse of conscience. So how long will the Antichrist reign?
For about 3 years.
Three and a half. 3.5. Which, if you live in a internet age, is short, but in some ways it's long. I mean, look at COVID. Look at the whole COVID scam. The whole world was engulfed in it. This whole lie. 6 feet apart, and masks, and just businesses being threatened, many of them closed down. And that lasted how long? 2 years? 1 year?
2 years.
Yeah, I'd say about 2 years.
So you can see how in a fast age of communication, the Antichrist can get a grip on things pretty quick, which will certainly be the case. For God, verse 17, Tony.
For God hath given into their hearts to do that which pleaseth him, that they give their kingdom to the beast, till the words of God be fulfilled.
God gave in the hearts to do what pleases him. It pleased God, not that he willed it, but allowed it for his justice. God let them, in accordance with his plan, to give themselves to the Antichrist. In other words, he allowed them to follow their will. They wanted to follow him, and he allowed them. God has given into their hearts to do which pleases him, the Antichrist, that they give their kingdom to the beast till the words of God be fulfilled. In other words, he respected their free will and let them do what they wanted. And 18, Tony.
And the woman which thou sawest is the great city, which hath kingdom over the kings of the earth.
The great city, the woman having kingdom all over the earth, is Babylon the Great, which is sensuality. Men's inclination to creatures and to sensual pleasures. The woman is soft pleasure-seeking. The woman represents the soft pleasure-seeking side of things. So the reign of sensuality. Bishop Williamson says here, preach against pornography as such. Preach the love of God and get reason under God. Reorder the higher soul, which will reorder the lower soul. Sensuality and pride. So poor souls, and poor children, poor youth, with all their cell phones, they have access to all this filth. And in these pornographic, it's $1 billion business, and they constantly push unnatural vice. I mean, it's just gross with with animals and everything. I understand in Germany somewhere there's a house of prostitution full of animals. That's how low things are going.
Spain decriminalized bestiality.
Really? I mean, wow. That's sad. So another point Bishop Williamson made in his great days, he's talking about the priests. Priests today need 4 things. They need 1, a strong and simple faith, rooted in the Summa of St. Thomas. That should be your friend someday. A strong and simple faith in our catechism and Summa of St. Thomas. 2, humility. 3, common sense. And 4, strong health. Yes, health in a priest is a great gift of God. But it's like an old 50 Chevy. You have to maintain you gotta keep it in good shape. Keep the instrument workable. So priests need strong and simple faith, 2, humility, 3, common sense, and 4, strong health. Strong health to handle the travels, to handle the mass circuits, to handle the lugging a 30-pound mass kit everywhere you go. And strong health to be a good ass of our Lord, to be his good jackass as best we can. St. Ignatius would tell his sons, laugh and grow strong. Chapter 18 of the Apocalypse. The fall of Babylon, kings and merchants lament over her. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was enlightened with his glory. So chapter 18, the 7th vision, God's final judgment. Condemnation of Babylon, chapter 18, the Antichrist, chapter 19, and the devil, chapter 20. Verse 1, another angel came down. This angel is Jesus Christ himself. Ego sum lux mundi, John 8:12. Ego sum lux mundi. What's that mean?
I am the light of the world.
Enlightening the earth with his teaching. This angel, Christ, having great power in the earth, was enlightened with his glory. Verse 2, Tony.
And he cried out with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every unclean spirit, and the hold of every unclean and hateful bird.
Babylon has fallen, Christ's warning, as in the Gospels, of the end of the world. The strong voice is the preaching of Christ, which cannot be silenced. Babylon, the empire of evil, has fallen. In time will fall. In eternity has fallen. So in time it will fall, but in eternity it's already fallen. Babylon represents the stronghold of every foul thought and hateful birds. Foul thoughts. Verse 3, Anthony.
Because all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth have been made rich by the power of her delicacies.
All right. Because all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, all unregenerate Gentiles and nations have drunk of concupiscence of the flesh. That is, all unbaptized Gentiles and nations have drunk of the concupiscence of the flesh. The wrath of her fornication, what's this mean? The proud men, the pride of life, they have staked everything on the world. Total infidelity to God. So there are souls who do this. They stake all their love and efforts in this world in total infidelity to God. So they fornicate, in other words, with this world by the sins. Concupiscence of the flesh, concupiscence of the eyes, pride of life. And the merchants And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth have been made rich by the power of her delicacies. Okay, we'll stop there at the merchants. Adjutorium nostrum in nomine Domini.